Grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. God morning, God afternoon, and God evening to all. My name is Justin B., and I am a son of an all-powerful and all-loving God and a qualifying addict of multiple fellowships living in the miracle of recovery. And I'm here with the intelligent agent, spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, and my co-host, Nikki M. Nikki, please take a minute and introduce yourself.
Well, hello, everybody. God afternoon, God morning, God night. I don't even know if Justin just said that because I'm all fired up. I'm a spearhead. I'm a spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation is what my book says. I believe it. And I'm also all fired up because I've got 2 cups of Mom's put hair on your chest coffee at black. I drink it. No milk, no sugar. And I just came off the Noodle with Nikki 9 a.m. Monday morning meeting where we had 150, I think at 2 or 3 at that point, 153 people fired up. And so I'm just trying to get circled here so we can record some stuff that's helpful and useful to our fellows.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nikki. I'm happy to have you here, and I'm glad that the meeting this morning went well. So many people are coming out and getting experience, strength, and hope in those meetings. And as part of the Rico 12 family, this service here, the Noodle It Out with Nikki podcast, and we bring 1 or 2 questions to the Big Book from you out there in the listening audience, or from those in the Noodle with Nikki chat, or from our real lives, whether it's with us working with sponsees or even our own personal lives. And we bring those questions to the Big Book, and Nikki helps us noodle it out, finding references and resources. So grab your Big Book, get a highlighter, a pen, paper, whatever you do to keep notes so that you can remember and put into action things that touch your soul as we go through this and inspire you to action, because that's what this is all about. It's a program of action. If I'm just learning and not doing anything with it, it's not doing me any good, and it's not doing those that I have the opportunity to work with any good either. So Nikki, I noticed you're pretty fired up this morning. You and I, before we hit record, we talked a little bit about some things, and let's jump into that. You mentioned that sometimes it's frustrating when, and I have this in my own life. I'm going to put it in the I, me, Nikki. Sometimes I recognize that I am falling short in a certain area, and I know there are resources out there for me. I know that there are resources for recovery, for whatever it is that's ailing me at that time. And I just am avoiding going and taking advantage of those resources and putting them in my life. Nikki, what are your thoughts on this, and how does it relate to you and your experience?
Okay, well, thank you so much. Right now, I have to remember page 133, everybody. Hi, everybody. I just want to thank everybody. If you give a 7th, here, thank you so much. I know you spent a lot of money on your addiction. Thank you for helping Justin keep Rico 12 family and podcast and our meeting alive. We don't even talk about a 7th, Justin. I know we're 6 a.m. your time, but it's 9 a.m. Toronto time. And I don't even mention it because I'm just, again, assuming that everyone's going to do the right thing. But at our meeting, we have a meeting that comes this is a service meeting that comes with the Rico 12 family, and I happen to be the steward of that. Thank you so much for that opportunity, Justin, Noodle with Nikki. And there is, I have to remind myself that I'm sure page 133, we use the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I have to be sure that God wants me happy, joyous, and free. Because after I got off the meeting today with 152 or 3 souls that were on there today, I have a message from my sponsee, Nikki, I'm not well. First thing I sent her, were you on the Noodle meeting? She's 14 years sober. Someone recommended her to call me. These are the cases I love. I'm a soul surgeon. You're 14 years sober, dying. Okay, I've got her in the work, but you're not on the Noodle meeting. Like, let me go deeper, because that's why I said I've got to remember that God wants me happy, joyous, and free. That this is an opportunity. When trouble comes, like the people I'm working with, don't, page 25, pick up. Let me just read it. When there is on page 25, when there is nothing left for you but to pick up the simple kit of spiritual tools laid at your feet. So this woman reached out to me. I not only come with a workbook that Cameron F. designed. The workshop is this weekend. It's a monthly workshop. Justin and I have presented a step on there. I mean, this is a real lifestyle. Rico 12 is a lifestyle. It's a family. The Noodle family, the Big Book sponsorship, and even my fellowship online, which is Spiritual Gangster. This is all a way of life. And no one is picking, well, I shouldn't say no one. There's my exaggeration. It's very difficult. And most people do not pick up the spiritual kit of tools laid at their feet. See, Noodle with Nikki, that's me. I'm Nikki. I come not only with a workbook and a big book, a condensed version of the big book for lazy people. I come with a Monday morning meeting every Monday at 9 a.m. Over 150 of us meet and we noodle things out. Then not only do I come with that, I come out with a podcast, which Justin and I are recording right now. Do you think any of my people are using that? No, they'll be calling me and they're like, I said, did you listen to last week's episode? Well, every big book of excuse. Oh, and then Justin and I were gifted David G. So we have a line by line through the big book. I mean, then Justin every Friday. I mean, the endless things that Rico 12 offers. Then the meetings that my entire fellowship goes, because I also started a Wednesday night meeting, which I do not attend anymore because my life has gotten so big, but people still run that meeting. That's on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, you've got it's endless. And they are not doing this, page 25. They are not, there's nothing left. So, excuse me, again, a friend, fellow, he's a grand sponsee. He said, oh, Nikki, I'm going to St. Joe's Hospital. I've got an appointment there. I said, I hope that works for you. But we read together, and I know you read it with your sponsee, that we're beyond human aid. See, that's what that means. There's nothing left. So you go to St. Joe's Hospital or you go to the Center for Mental Addiction and Health and all that. Let me know how that works out for you, madam, sir, whomever you want to identify as or whatever you do. But this is radical. And the reason I'm all pumped up, because after that, my sponsee says, well, Nikki, we can meet earlier. He's in Egypt. And I'm like, we've been working. We're on step, I think, 11. And you didn't hear that every Monday I record right after Noodle meeting. And then I sent after, were you on Noodle meeting? No. You see, like, they're not even interested in me. That's how I can see the page 62, the selfishness and self-centeredness of them, because they're so interested in themselves. They're not even interested in me, their AKA sponsor. You understand? Page 90. You know, we love that one too. It's like, they're not getting an idea of my behavior, my problems, but I've certainly got an idea of their behavior, their problems, their background, the seriousness of their condition, their spiritual or non-spiritual leanings. See, I need this information, but they don't even care enough about me. So if my sponsee is not interested to know these things about me, wow, how's he treating his wife? Wonder how he's treating his adult children. I wonder how he's treating his coworkers. You see, because this is where sponsorship helps us practice. Like my person who's dying, it's like, wow, 14 years sober. I hand out and lay out this spiritual toolkit, and you're not even starting at the meeting. The meeting that's specifically, here it is. I love this line on here, page. I was just on there. I was looking like, where pages can I go to too? Page 97. See, here it is. It says, it's 1, 2, third paragraph down. It says, the family should be offered this way of life. See, this is the family. The Rico 12 unit is a family. The, what else? The Spiritual Gangsters, that was the online group that I started with 3 of my sponsees and me. And now, of course, there's other trusted servants who really have taken it over. That's a family. The Big Book sponsorship. That's a family. The Noodle family is a family. We're all one family. Those 4 little families I said are all one. And then, like the other day I spoke at this other fellowship that just started. I think we have had Purdy on here with the spiritual cartel. That's a big family. I mean, we've had, it's like, this is what we do. The family should be offered this is a way of life. My line above that says Al-Anon, but really this whole entire big book is a way of life. And people aren't doing that. So I keep continuing, and I know you do this, Justin, page 99. The very bottom sentence says, remind the prospect that his recovery is not dependent upon people. See, it's dependent upon his relationship with God. Everybody, don't call me. Please don't call my friend Justin if you haven't used the resources first. And when you can't hear in those resources, or you're really blacked out scared, because Justin, I get blacked out scared too, and I can't find my big book. I can't find God. I can't even find the phone in the darkness, then I really do have to reach for somebody. Does that make sense? But it says it says this is all dependent upon my relationship with God, which is the power. Where is God? It's deep down inside of me. So sometimes person who called me after Noodle, who didn't come on to Noodle, my sponsee, 3 of my people today. And even my cousin reached out. She's like, Nikki, I really appreciate your consistency, always being there. It's like, it's all here for you. She's going through a divorce. She's like, I need an accountability partner for my sugar. It's like, I've got a sponsor. Before, like a month ago, it was her, her husband that she's left. Like, it's all these things. It's like, here is a kit for you, lady. It works for you. You sing, here it is. It works in me. That's what that book says on page 25. And I'll let you pop in here, Justin, because you're right. I've had, number 1, too much of grandma's coffee, but I could just go through the book that people just aren't following these directions. It says right here, it's like, when therefore we were approached, that's the dying addict, you're approached by those in whom the problem had been solved. The problem's been solved in me and Justin. And yes, you guys hear me crying a lot on my podcast because there's a new issue today, my neighbors. And there was a new issue 2 years ago, COVID. And you know what? In a few years, there's going to be new issues too. But I'm not sitting here crying about my 3rd grade teacher. I'm certainly not crying about my mommy and daddy. Those issues have been resolved because there is a solution. None of us like the self-searching, step 4 and 5, the leveling of our pride, telling someone else, the confessions of our shortcomings. It's a process every day. Successful consummation. I'm on page 25, the same paragraph. But we saw it really worked in others. Why, sponsee? You want to work with me, but you didn't come to the meeting or the home group that I go to? Make that make sense. Justin, help me here.
Yeah. And I, like I said, I'm going to go back to me. There are so many times that I have not been willing to reach out for those available resources where I think, I'm just going to just be a wallflower in that Noodle meeting. I'm not going to join in anyways. Why should I waste that time? I'm going to be a burden on somebody to reach out and make a call to them. So I don't want to be that burden. Nikki, how do I move through those feelings of self-pity or whatever in that instance where I'm maybe just not willing to pick up this simple, I love this phrase, pick up that simple kit of spiritual tools laid at my feet. They're right there. But sometimes I'm just too, maybe embarrassed to reach down and pick it up. How do I move past that self-pity?
That's a wonderful question. And it's on page 76. It's a step 6 problem. It really is. It is here. It's the willingness. If you're listening now at this, I don't know, we're over a year. I think this is soon next week's going to be episode 52. We've been recording for a while now, Justin. And so it's like, I've got new problems. If you first listened when Justin and I started, COVID was probably there eating at my soul, or I'm allowing it to. Now it's my neighbors. If you're here with us on this episode in the 50s, a year later. And right now I'm not willing to forgive my neighbors. So it's on page 76. It says right here, we have emphasized. So these are Bill, his friends. It's my sponsor. This is Justin and my sponsor. They're emphasizing willingness as being indispensable. So Justin and I can't go, Justin and I, we've talked about it. We're procrastinators. We cannot go to the store and pick up willingness. I'm in Toronto, Canada. You can go to the store and pick up anything here. You can go and pick up methadone, fentanyl. You can pick up, we have marijuana, mushroom shops. So we have the LCBO, the Liquor Commission Board of Ontario. They dispense the liquor. They do not dispense willingness. Oh, you get hookers dispensed, everything here. Ladies of the night. But here it is. It says right here, because you just said, Nikki, what happens if I don't want to do this? What happens? It says, if Nikki and Justin still cling to something, Justin, I cannot forgive my neighbors. Do you know what they're doing to me? And as my friend reminded me, it's a new resentment every day. It's not just the same one. Like it was like they did this, and then today it's something new I'm waking up to. They're doing renovations. So there's something new every day. And that's going to happen, of course. But it says, I'm still clinging. I'm clinging, everybody. I'm holding on to it. I will not let go. I'm not going to let go of my need to be right. I'm not going to let go that I said, no, they can't do this work on my property and they're doing it. I refuse to let go. What does it say? I have to just ask God. And, Justin, I've just been doing that. And I want to use an analogy here. Like, it's like when you take antibiotic, and I don't take it. I take oil of oregano, nature's antibiotic, everybody. No, this isn't an infomercial, but if you take whatever, I don't care how you take it, nature's own or the doctor prescribed antibiotic, okay? When you take it, it doesn't work overnight. They say, take it for a week consistently. Do not miss a dose. So I have to consistently, and I've been doing it, Justin, you'd be proud of me because, we buffer each other. You're my sponsor, even though you don't know it, because I meet with you weekly here. So here it is. I've been doing that consistently. I've been asking God. That's all. Help me be willing. That's all I'm doing. See, that's all I have to do. It doesn't say I've got to run out and invite them over for dinner. I've got to run out and go out. Because remember, if you remember step 10, it says, we have just entered the world of the spirit. Let me get there because I don't want to misquote it. It's on page 84, I think, where all your pages there. It says, we have entered the world of the spirit. Now let's go there, deep divers. This is a spirit world. So you can run back to your doctors. You can run back to, your ex, your people. This is a spirit world. I mean, this is really a frequency of vibration and energy. It says our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. This is not an overnight matter. It should, must continue for my lifetime. See, my next function is not to grow out and make the amends. My next function isn't to grow out, to go out and start clinging to things and controlling and martyring and managing and manipulating and calling my sponsor and not picking up the spiritual toolkit. It just says right now, because I'm so sick, my next function is just to ask for willingness. Like my sponsee, obviously she's out of her mind. She's 14 years sober. She's literally, if you're listening, everybody out there, please, if you're withdrawing off a human, it's the worst drug ever. It really is, more than the fentanyl, because I'll kill you instantly, the heroin, the methadone, instantly. But the love withdrawal, and here it is, there's no one to dispense it to you. Like, because it's a personal brand, right, Justin? Like at the end of my disease, I couldn't just go out and get when I was in the beginning of my disease, because that's why it's progressive, I could go out and get under anyone to get over that someone. By the end of it, no, I'm not joking. If you haven't watched the movie, it was Fatal Attraction. It had to be this guy. And when it wasn't, everyone knows my story. I boiled his cell phone. I looked at him dead in the eyes when he found out about it and said, if you had a bunny, I'd do that too. Like, this is not a joke. It gets real crazy. So in love addiction, and I know what this woman's going through, it's one personal brand. Like you can't call your dealer and say, bring this guy over. That's called kidnapping, everybody. It's illegal. I know it's illegal in Canada and in America. So this gets real serious where your next function is to grow in understanding. What's your understanding? That I am so sick, I have to ask for the willingness. I have to just pick up this simple kit laid in front of me. See, I have to just go to that meeting that my sponsor suggested. One meeting a week. I didn't say go to every meeting. See, that's the other thing. It doesn't say that. So, Nikki, you're suggesting, it doesn't say go to meetings. It does. Let's turn there. It says on page 159. That's why if you're working with me or Justin, it's like, or if you love Rico 12, go to the one meeting a week that Rico 12 does. That's every Friday, 1 p.m. Or they have, if you're in the Euro, our Karen does the Euro podcast. If you are in with Noodle Nikki and you love what we're suggesting here, or if you like the one meeting a week could even be Nikki, I can't. You have a recorded line by line big book that David G, Justin B, and Nikki M are doing, and it's a pleasure and it's a duty. But here it is, our one meeting a week, page 159. See, why didn't you come? Because it says it became customary, last sentence, to set apart one night. Now, if you're on the other side of the country, our meeting, I'm not going to say my meeting, it's our Noodle meeting, because it's just a group conscience of what does the book say? We've never had a business meeting. It's just what does the book say? And it says you get one night a week or one day a week for a meeting. That's what we do, to be attended by anyone. And that's what we do there, Justin. It's like, we don't care where you come from. Just come. Everyone. My mom's on there. She's not in 12-step. Interested. I do ask my daughter, but it's 6 a.m. in California, Justin, and she's still that me. A spiritual way of life. That's all that we're doing. See, it's a spiritual program to fix a spiritual malady. We're suffering an illness. So a lot of people, and I'm surprised, that's why I'm really shocked. And I'm going to see this woman later. We have an appointment. So now she wants the appointment, the 1 hour one-on-one, but she couldn't come out and be in. And here's the miracle. A woman, and I spoke this woman's name out, shared today, not out loud, like not her personal name, but I said, I'm working with somebody. And I thought she was there. I assumed she would be there listening. Justin, another woman from somewhere in the world shared her same exact story today. Sober, dying, withdrawal. She said, Nikki, I came to this meeting once and I couldn't stand it. Basically, that means I couldn't stand you. And I get it. I'm not easy. But she was willing to come back. And she heard something and she put on her camera and she shared, beautiful lady. And my sponsee wasn't on there to hear her story. But she wants to take me hostage for an hour today. You see, Justin, make it make sense.
No, thank you, Nikki. And it's so frustrating, when I work with others and I'm trying to put things out there for them from my own experience, strength, and hope. Hey, here are some things that have worked for me, and they don't pick it up. And yet, like what you said, and like what I've shared here, I find myself in that same boat. The resources are there. I love this line. Nothing left for me but to pick up the spiritual kit, the simple kit of spiritual tools that are laid at my feet. There's nothing left but for that. And if I am in that place of hopelessness, powerlessness, unmanageability, where there's just nothing left, I need to be willing to pick up that simple kit of spiritual tools that are right there. And they're not there. I mean, they're there for everyone and anyone, just like the come to a meeting by anyone and everyone interested in a spiritual way of life. Everybody, I think this is where I want to wrap this up. Get interested in this spiritual way of life. Come join with us. Join a meeting that speaks to you, and pick up that simple kit of spiritual tools that is laid openly and willingly at your feet, because it works. It works. And you are worth it.